During the pre-dawn darkness, across the vast South China Sea, massive swells transform into monstrous walls. The horizon vanishes completely, swallowed by darkness, while the Navy destroyer climbs towering waves, reaching heights that dwarf city buildings. Bridge personnel maintain unwavering focus forward, watching the bow climb ever steeper, until physics forces the massive descent. The warship crashes violently downward, metal frame shuddering, creating thunderous echoes throughout the vessel. This weather system exceeds normal storms, representing a maximum intensity tropical system, capable of destroying entire fishing fleets and sinking commercial vessels. Sequential waves build upon each other, each surge darker and more powerful. Salt spray rockets horizontally across decking, driven by devastating wind speeds, producing shrieking sounds through structural openings. Visibility drops to absolute zero, creating uniform black conditions. Lightning illuminates the clouds momentarily, revealing the destroyer's outline against churning waters, before returning to complete darkness, accompanied by relentless wind noise. Seawater surges over forward sections, flowing backward in torrents striking hatches and barriers. Each impact delivers hammer-like force against the hull, demonstrating nature's indifference to radar systems, weaponry, and advanced technology. Steel yields to oceanic power. The destroyer battles upward once more, engines straining, propellers gripping deep water before reaching another wave crest. Crew members prepare for descent, facing unpredictable, merciless conditions, surrounded by chaos. Within this maritime chaos, every sailor confronts identical concerns, questioning their endurance limits. Tonight's adversary isn't hostile naval forces, neither missiles nor submarines nor aircraft approaching at low altitude. Tonight's enemy remains the ocean itself, operating beyond human regulations. The destroyer plunges into another trough, creating terrifying moments when the bow vanishes beneath surface level. Dense green seawater floods the deck, surging backward like unleashed rivers. All topside equipment, including railings, antennas, and weapon systems, absorb maximum impact. Unsecured items disappear within seconds. The vessel groans with living intensity. Steel flexes under tremendous loading, the hull bending sufficiently to maintain integrity while demonstrating structural stress. Each wave impact creates shock loading, delivering thousands of tons within millisecond timeframes. Naval engineers term this slamming pressure, while crews experience giant fists repeatedly pounding the vessel. Salt spray blinds elevated sensor systems. The powerful Spy-1 radar, normally tracking hundreds of targets horizon-wide, fails under saltwater sheets and electrical interference. Navigation systems malfunction, displays flicker, rendering the ship effectively blind within storm conditions. Advanced technology proves inadequate against seawater's circuit shorting effects. Along the sides, scuppers, designed for deck water drainage, discharge like fountains, struggling continuously. Each surge transforms decking into temporary waterways. Sealed hatches remain closed, watertight seals straining under pressure, while seawater attempts penetration into lower compartments. Crew members understand dangers. Excessive topside water accumulation elevates the ship's gravity center, increasing rolling vulnerability. Therefore, sailors respond urgently during severe weather, clearing blocked drains, despite surrounding chaos. Single mistakes or clogged scuppers could cause water accumulation exceeding discharge capacity. Deep within the hull, impacts feel distinctly different. Beyond mere noise, vibrations penetrate through bulkheads, into compartments shaking bunks and storage, including steel tables throughout mess areas. Every impact confirms this exceeds weather, representing structural integrity testing. External storm conditions show no weakening. Waves continue building, stacked increasingly higher, each threatening to push the destroyer beyond limits of what American steel can endure. Bridge illumination glows dimly red, sufficient for instrument reading, while preserving night vision capability. The captain stands firmly, one hand gripping railings, the other positioned near engine controls. His commands cut through storm noise, sharp and precise. Hold steady, bow toward waves, reduce speed 5 knots. Every directive receives immediate acknowledgement, without hesitation or errors. In these conditions, hesitation proves fatal. The helmsman wrestles steering with both hands. During bow elevation, rudder response becomes sluggish, nearly powerless until stern re-engages water. Each correction remains small, deliberate, and accurate. Overcorrection could position the destroyer broadside to waves, creating potentially catastrophic rolling. Warning systems activate in rapid sequences, not from weapons, but from systems overwhelmed by water and vibration. Electronics officers monitor flickering displays, rerouting circuits, silencing unnecessary warnings. Storm conditions create sufficient chaos without false alarms, overwhelming genuine external threats. Below decks, conditions represent different combat challenges. Passageways echo with metal groaning and unsecured equipment crashes. Sailors navigate through ships, secured to safety lines, maintaining bulkhead contact. In sleeping quarters, sailors attempt rest, though sleep remains optimistic terminology. Each bunk features steel frames with tightly stretched canvas, stacked 3 high. During calm conditions, they sway gently. Tonight, they whip sideways so violently that sailors secure themselves with webbing, preventing ejection from berths. Every bow impact against waves resembles seismic activity, vibrating air within compartments. In dining areas, cooks maintain operations, meals reduced to storm rations, sandwiches, packaged provisions, hot coffee, and insulated containers. Traditional plates prove useless. Everything served in squeeze bottles or sealed containers. Indeed, eating becomes survival necessity. Damage control teams position at every junction, wearing helmets and protective gear, with equipment slung across shoulders. Their mission responds instantly to flooding, fires, or hull breaches. They train continuously, but calm weather drilling differs vastly from storm response, where walking straight becomes impossible. Every crew member understands clearly the destroyer maintains integrity while oceans attempt increasingly to tear her apart, leaving only endurance as option. The destroyer crests another massive wave, then drops severely, rolling 20 degrees port, before the keel counters against swells. On the bridge, every officer monitors the inclinometer carefully. A simple needle gauge indicating precise ship lean angles. 10 degrees remains manageable, 20 becomes dangerous. Anything beyond 30 degrees pushes the vessel into the zone sailors dread most, complete capsize. A destroyer represents no small vessel. 9,000 tons of steel packed with weapons, engines, and electronics, yet at the wrong angle. Even this giant can be thrown onto its side. Broadside to waves, the rolling becomes violent, and once a ship passes that critical point, gravity completes what the sea initiated. Recovery becomes impossible. Therefore, the captain's orders remain unchanged. Bow into waves, maintain speed low, but not dead. Too much speed causes slamming so severe it risks structural damage. Too little allows waves to push her around like cork. Balance remains everything. Engines surge and slow with every command. Propellers digging for grip against these walls of water that want nothing more than to spin the ship sideways. Every sailor aboard understands the rule. Never turn broadside to a storm. Training hammers that lesson from day one. But knowing it and living it represent 2 very different challenges when these walls of water tower above buildings, rise from darkness, and slam against the hull. Even the most advanced warships remain vulnerable. Gyroscopic stabilizers, reinforced hulls, and naval architecture can only provide limited safety. Beyond that point, seamanship and discipline decide fate. One bad helm order, one hesitation in throttle, and the South China Sea would claim another victim. Steel and crew swallowed completely. Inside, no one discusses capsizing aloud, but the thought lingers heavily, with every violent roll unspoken yet understood. This ship remains upright because hundreds of sailors fight, second by second, to maintain that position. In the storm's chaos, every wave appears enormous, but sailors recognize something far more threatening exists, something that defies the normal rhythm of the sea. They call it a rogue wave. A rogue wave transcends mere size. It defies prediction. While the storm may generate waves 30 feet high, a rogue can suddenly tower 60, even 80 feet, rising from nowhere like a wall of liquid steel. These monsters don't roll gently across oceans. They stand vertically, strike with crushing force, and then vanish back into the sea as if they never existed. Scientists once dismissed rogue waves of sailors' tales, exaggerations after excessive time at sea. That changed in 1995 when the Draupner oil platform in the North Sea recorded a single wave exceeding 80 feet high, dwarfing everything surrounding it. Since then, ships worldwide have confirmed encounters. Hulls twisted, windows blown out, even supertankers crippled. For a warship, the threat remains equally real. A destroyer can cut through heavy seas, but a rogue wave disregards design or technology entirely. If it strikes head-on, the bomb may slam down with force that cracks welds and rips equipment free. If it catches the ship from the side, it can roll thousands of tons of steel past its tipping point. What makes them deadly is their suddenness. Rogue waves can rise in calm seas, or even in storms like this one, stacking on top of existing swells until they tower above everything else. There's no warning, there's no radar alarm. By the time the lookout sees it, the ship is already climbing its face or bracing for the crash. Every sailor on this destroyer knows the stories. Merchant ships lost without trace. Naval vessels battered so severely they had to limpong, never the same. And in the South China Sea tonight, with storm waves already pounding at skyscraper height, the thought hangs heavily. If a rogue rises here, will the destroyer survive? Below decks, the storm has transformed daily life into survival training. Sailors wedge themselves into narrow passageways just to attempt staying upright. Every step must be timed with the ship's roll. In the mess, meals are stripped to basics. Hot trays and ceramic mugs are useless. They'd launch across the room at first roll. Instead, sailors eat from sealed containers, balancing against bulkheads with one hand and holding their food in the other. Coffee served in plastic squeeze bottles, not cups. Nobody lingers. Meals are swallowed quickly before the next violent slam. Sleep proves equally brutal. In calmer seas, racks feel like small hammocks. In this storm, they're roller coasters. Sailors strap themselves into their bunks with belts, some lying awake counting seconds between waves. Every crash shakes the entire frame. Every groan of the steel bulkheads reminds them the ship endures constant assault. But amid the chaos, training takes over. Teams move as one, executing damage checks, clearing drains, reinforcing hatches. Nobody panics, not because they're not afraid, but because fear has no place when survival depends on discipline. Each sailor trusts the next one, the chain of responsibility, stretching from the lowest deckhand to the captain up on the bridge. This battle isn't about weapons or strategy. No missile system can fight the ocean. It's about endurance, teamwork, and trust. In this moment, the destroyer isn't a machine of war. It's a lifeboat of steel held together by skill and the resolve of the people inside. Tonight, it's not Navy versus enemy. It's humanity versus nature, and nature never surrenders. The storm doesn't end with dramatic finale. It fades slowly, waves stretching longer, the wind no longer screaming, and the horizon finally showing itself again. The destroyer has survived. Steel bent, decks battered, sailors drained but alive. On the bridge, the captain stares at calmer seas. The ship has weathered the test, but everyone knows this isn't the last time. Out here in the South China Sea, storms don't ask for permission. They arrive, they punish, and they leave without trace, except for the memories burned into the crew. The Navy can train for war, it can prepare for enemies, but against the ocean, there is no escape. Thank you for joining this journey. If you found this storm analysis valuable, please consider supporting this content and exploring more naval documentaries.